Hello there, Jets fans. Welcome to episode number 66 of the JetStream podcast. I am Travis Rubinik. Today is March 9th, and I'm here with Joe Clark and Neil Noonan on what was a beautiful day.
Oh, gorgeous.
In the city of Winnipeg. I didn't even wear a coat to Neil's house today.
Yeah, you were just rolling up in a sweater. I was like, this guy's got some serious confidence going.
You know what? I take advantage. I wore a way too heavy coat today.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on the bus going all the way down to HSC, and I was just sweating buckets. It was awful. So I made up for it by not wearing a coat tonight.
I love this weather, man. I love this time of year. I feel biased, but like I have this like positive feeling of like when the snow is melting,
oh, yeah.
the sun is shining, and then for any basketball fan, like this time of year, like playoffs, provincials, March Madness, it just reminds me of like when we used to go down to Grand Forks.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We used to go to Grand Forks every year around this time, and it would just be that getting new clothes in Grand Forks, getting new basketball shoes, got the whatever that tournament was called in Grand Forks.
Grand Am.
Yeah, the Grand Am. I don't know how to ever forget that. Eating waffles like no other. Poolside rooms in the little... Oh.
Shout out to the Road King.
Yeah, the Road King. If you ever stayed in Grand Forks. Oh, yeah. That's where we'd always stay. It was awesome. The only thing I don't like...
high-class facility.
It was pretty good.
I mean, we were what, like 13?
High school. It was basically junior high and high school, so it was perfect for us.
Yeah, oh yeah. No complaints there. We had a hot tub.
Always hooking up the poolside rooms, so it would just be like, wake up. First people up, just loading up the waffles. Next people up, pool, hot tub. Video games like no
we
other.
should toss together a senior men's team and just go down one weekend.
We should.
Like it's the 28th and 29th this weekend. I mean, or this month, sorry. But that would be fun. Even if we get our ass kicked by a grown man.
Oh, we would. We would. I haven't played ball in forever. I've played basketball once since my shoulder surgery, or other than practices.
Yeah.
Like once, and I'm really terrified what's going to happen when I pick up. I went to usually in between my classes on Mondays. I have a bit of break when I go from Bannatyne all the way to Fort Garry. I usually just go for a run, and then I was leaving the gym today. I was like, I should shoot hoops one of these days. See what happens. So I think that's what I'm going to do next week and see what happens to me and just see how awful it really goes. Because it's been a long.
Well, we
time.
played a little bit of pickup that one time. You tweaked your shoulder. Oh yeah, and that was just against me. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. That was awful. It seems like every time I pick up a basketball, I mess up my shoulders.
Instant injuries.
It's not fun. Yeah, it was a good day today. It's a beautiful day out. Had some mongos for dinner.
Ooh,
highly underrated.
All right.
Good place. And Apple had their keynote today.
Yes.
Neil? Gonna get an Apple Watch?
I don't know, man. I'm really glad they're doing what they're doing as far as, like, they don't have a release date. They have, I think it's April 10th, where they're allowing you to come in, try the watch on.
I thought they did have a release date.
No, yeah, it's the 24th.
Yeah.
But there's like a lag time between so at the 10th you're able to come in, check it out, try it on. You're allowed to pre-order on that date, rather than just 24th. There it is, kind of thing. Like if you want to come get like an iPhone, right? Yeah. Because I think the watch people need to go in, put it on, see if they're going to use it or not. I consistently tell myself I'm not going to get new Apple products, and I get them the week of every single time. And I've been using a Pebble smartwatch for the past year, and I think it's honestly changed my life, just not having my phone in my hand. I don't have it on now, which is hilarious, but it's so nice to separate yourself from the phone, and if you really need to use or pick up your phone, you know what's important from your watch, right? And this Apple Watch just looks like it's going to do so much more, especially with the health.
Yeah, that's my big thing, because I've been for a long time I've been meaning to get some sort of fitness tracker, but this is the reason I'm going to get one. I need a new watch because my other watch, the battery died. I'm too lazy to change it, but it was also old and getting scratched up, and I needed a new watch anyways. And I was thinking to myself, well, I might as well get a nice watch because I can kind of afford a nicer watch now. I also wanted to get a fitness tracker that I could wear every once in a while because, well, I'm faculty kinesiology. I'm used to all that fitness stuff. I know how important it is and all that stuff. Buying each of those things individually, the Apple Watch is going to start at like what, $400 pretty much?
Yeah, the Sport is $349.
Yeah, and then obviously I'm not going for those edition like made of gold ones, but
10K.
But like getting the middle ground one, even the sport, it's probably like getting a watch and a fitness tracker on its own is going to end up costing you more than $350 to begin with.
No doubt.
So I might as well get one that has everything with an accelerometer, a heart rate monitor.
Most of those
GPS.
fitness trackers are like starting at like $150 for a base kind of thing. Yeah, for
like generally the cheapest kind of one. So that's how I'm going to justify it.
Fitbit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to work so well with your iPhone, right?
Exactly. So, everything's going to be interconnected, and it looks like it's a good thing. So I want to try it on and see what it actually looks like first. I know Joe's probably going to laugh at me when I buy one.
But absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I'm justifying it to myself somehow.
For sure. And
you're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I'll probably do the same. Yeah. I think the biggest thing with those fitness trackers, I had one of those Jawbone Ups for a while, and it's... Sure, you're taking in a lot of data. It's what you do with that data, right? Like, you can just take all your steps in, you can put in your diet, whatever it may be, and you get all of this awesome information. But what do you do with it? Like, you gotta do action, right? So I'd like to think, especially with the heart rate monitor for the Apple Watch, which I think is huge.
Which I'm kind of questionable about, because I don't know how well you can take a heart rate, even with the system they have, from above your wrist. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to hockey, I promise. Eventually, we will. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of picky about that stuff because I do know a lot about it, and I like how it's not just a heart rate monitor, it's not just an accelerometer, it mixes both of those. Plus, you has your GPS tracker, and you can use your phone to use your Wi-Fi stuff, so it knows how far you're moving. It just gives you more than most other things could for...
Exactly.
Like, the $150 one, it's going to tell you either your steps or maybe have an accelerometer in it, but it's not going to be able to tell you tons of in-depth information all at once, so...
And then make sense of it.
Exactly,
right? Like,
yeah. And tell you to stand up and stuff like that.
I'm at the point in my life where I trust Apple with my life. So, like,
I've clearly bought in completely.
Yeah, Travis is very deep in Apple. He has no choice.
But the thing is, if you're very deep in Apple, it's almost inconvenient to get out of it.
Yeah, because you're in the ecosystem.
Exactly, everything's interconnected.
Together, right?
Like, I put something in my calendar on my computer, it's in my phone, it's in everything. Like, it's done. It's ready. I save one document here, it's in everything. So if this dies, I have it there. It's just hard to get out.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to get out. So you're almost a smart one, Joe, because you didn't go in. Yeah. Just a smart guy, Joe. You're a very smart guy.
What can I say?
Should we talk about hockey, I guess?
Sure.
Not really.
Joe's like, let's
Joe's
do
like, I want to talk.
I don't have anything to contribute to the Apple conversation, so
yeah, all you guys are gonna make fun of me. Screw you. I don't care. I'm gonna get one. Actually, last point on this. The only thing that'll stop me from getting one is if you can't change the bands
on the sport.
Freely. Is it just the sport you can change them, or is it...
You could change... See, that's where I'm lost too, because if I get one, I'm going to get the cheap one, obviously. I'm going to get the sport one. Yeah. But can you only wear the rubber ones?
Exactly, because that's just going to look cheap.
Yeah, because I want to be able to change all of them. I think that, me as well, that's a deal breaker almost.
Yeah, if I have to have that rubber band, I'm not getting it. It's flat out not going to get it. Because I want to be able to have a decent looking band so I can wear it out somewhere, but not have to wear that decent band if I'm going to go for a run and it's going to get all gross and sweaty in 5 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah, as long as I can switch the band, that's going to be my selling point.
You know what? I'm pretty sure it's just the rubber one, so we'll have to see.
I know. I don't want to spend a lot of money.
You'll probably still get one.
The thing is, I always go for the middle ground thing. I never go for the most expensive one. I never go for the cheap one. I always go in the middle. Like this thing, I didn't even get the smallest one of these. I got the one step up, just so just a little bit, just so I'm not shortchanging myself by not getting what I might need. I always do it. I don't know why. Even if I don't need it, I always just go one step up, just in case.
I know.
Because you never know.
Safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Well, this one step up is basically double the price.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I haven't seen any of the prices anywhere.
Oh, it goes from... you would probably get a bigger one. So it goes from $400 to $779.
Yeah. All right. Apple's sport it is.
They have very large steps.
Yeah.
Very, very big steps.
And then to $10K.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Yeah. So... All right. Anyways, hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey talk.
Winnipeg.
Hockey talk.
Jets. Let's talk about them.
Okay.
Dustin Byfuglien, Brian Little, hurt. Matthew Perreault, hurt. Not fun. Before we get to that, what we will talk about this week, though, the Manitoba Moose might be coming back. That's pretty exciting. We have an email from a listener in Norway that we were going to talk about, which is going to be pretty freaking awesome. Paul Maurice said some dumb things today.
Ooh,
well, not really dumb. He just said things about Mark Stuart that basically. And the shootout in the AHL. Not a very common thing, so we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. 3-on-3 overtime.
Important stuff.
It is important stuff. But, like I said, Byfuglien and Little.
I call it important just because it makes me sound intelligent, because...
Yeah. It's not just the glasses that make
they're just going, yeah, exactly. Actually, I had somebody tell me the other day, it's like, wow, those glasses make you look really smart. I'm like, oh, thanks.
My little nerdlings.
I don't know if that's like a compliment or an insult. Like, do I look stupid with the glasses off? I don't know. But
Am I just stupid if, and you're just saying I look smart? Or?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'll just keep them on then, I guess.
Anyways, Dustin Byfuglien, Brian Little, out. Joe, what does this mean? Are they screwed?
No, I don't think they're screwed. Not screwed yet. I think we were talking about this before. They're still at like a 70-something% chance, or just below 70 to get into the playoffs. To get into the playoffs, so it's still there. And I mean, they showed that they can put on a performance against a decent Nashville team on Saturday.
Yep.
I mean, Nashville's been sliding, but they're one of the better teams in the league this whole season. So if you can have two of your main guys in Little and Byfuglien injured, and then Perreault out for it's been a while already with him out. And they can still put in a decent performance against a very solid defensive Nashville team. I don't know if they can keep putting that together. There's not a lot left to do.
Yeah.
I mean, really, in terms of actual games left, there's not much left going. You only have to put together a solid stretch of games to get in.
Yeah.
And then once you're in, I think we talked about this before. Once you're in, it's done.
Yeah.
You don't need to win a friggin' game.
Oh, no, not at all. And guys are going to get healthier by that point, too. Like, Byfuglien should be back in, I think, 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Little's only out for a few games. Perreault's, I think his timeline was around the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think it was Pitty today saying something along the lines of, there's only like 1 or 2 Jets games a week now. It kind of sucks. That's really working in their favor right now, because they're playing like minimal games with these guys out.
Yeah.
Not to call you out, Pitty. I'm not saying you were saying anything dumb. It's just, I think it's a benefit to the Jets as a team right now, as boring as it is to have like no hockey on.
Yeah.
I see that almost as a benefit because, you can get guys healthy, and because you're getting pretty much a rest right now compared to what you're used to before a playoff stretch. I'm looking at the standings right now. And one thing I like to point out to people is the way that the playoffs are set up. The Jets basically need 2 teams to pass them in the standings for them to fall out of this wild card spot, because the teams in the race right now, the Jets are sitting at 78 points. Minnesota's got 79. Below them, LA has 75, San Jose has 72, Colorado has 71. It's getting to the point where you can almost say Colorado's done. Dallas is at 68. They're 10 points out. I think they're pretty much done. Colorado, I don't really see, like, they're 7-3 in their last 10. I don't see them being that good that they can make such a huge push. So let's say things are pretty much down to San Jose and LA below the Jets. Either of those teams need to get, like, if they pass people in points, they're going to be up in the Pacific first.
Yeah.
So you basically need teams in the Pacific to all start playing well. So that starts to include Vancouver, Calgary, LA, and San Jose are all kind of in this jumble mess. They're all fighting for Pacific spots first before they take out the wild card spots, because the Jets are still ahead of a lot of these teams. Like, the Jets would be sitting 3rd in the Pacific right now. So it's an interesting battle, because a lot of these teams either play each other as they're going out. Like, Vancouver's next games, Anaheim, LA, they got to play again. Toronto, Philly, and Columbus are pretty easy. But again, they got to take points off of LA at some point, or LA's taking points off of them. Somewhere things are going to go there. And Calgary's got to play Colorado, so one of those two isn't getting points. They got to play St. Louis, which is a tough game. Like, a lot of these teams, as it comes down the stretch, are going to start playing each other a bit more and start playing tough opponents. And I think as long as you don't have a buttload of games going into overtime, you're going to have a good stretch. San Jose's got to play the Jets too. Like, the Jets can take a lot of this into their own hands now.
They still have, and you hear it all the time, where the teams want to have control over their own situation for as far into the season as they can.
And the Jets do have control.
And they do have control at this point, and they will, given some success, they will till basically the very end.
I think almost every team right now, games played, like, that's not even a factor anymore. The Jets, everyone around the Jets except for LA are sitting at 66 points, or 66 games played, and LA's got 65. Everyone else is either at 66, or Vancouver's at 65, a couple teams are at 67, but those are Anaheim and Nashville. Everyone else is at 66 pretty much right now. So it's basically just a race to the finish right now, and it'll be interesting to see. There's a rather annoying article that came out of the Hockey News today that I think Arby tweeted out, that saying,
I saw that,
of all times to say the Jets goaltending might be the reason they not make the playoffs. After the last how many years of Pavlik?
Now, there is a little bit of truth to that.
There is, yes.
With the goaltending has been falling off from what it was all season, yes. But, like you said, of all the times, this is not really the time to bring it up.
Possibly...
Because the goaltending is better than it has been yet.
Yes.
So, I think that we can pretty conclusively say that goaltending was the problem of them not making the playoffs for the past 2, 3, 4 years.
It has been. It's been one of the main reasons.
And not so much this year.
Yeah. Like, Hutch is still at a 9-19, 9-18 or something like that. Somewhere around there.
Was the last one I saw.
He's clearly become the starter, by the way.
Above,
like,
yes,
there's no doubt
very
about
obviously.
That now.
Above, a decent amount above league average of 9-14.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
So, I listen, pretty confident in the Jets right now.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a bit of a tough start. I mean, St. Louis isn't going to be an easy match. Like, St. Louis, I think, is 500 in their last 10. Florida should be a decent matchup as well. Tampa, like the Jets do have a tough schedule. Like their next 5: St. Louis, Florida, Tampa, San Jose, St. Louis. Like that's a tough stretch.
That is,
especially without players. But again, that stretch over like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of time to rest. I'm not saying it's in the bag by any stretch of the imagination. I feel good about it for some reason. Obviously not as good as I felt earlier this year, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, let's think back to January when all those defensive injuries were going down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you would have told me at this point in the season that with all that stuff taken into consideration that the Jets would be where they are, I would probably be pretty happy with that. I mean, they performed very, very well under those circumstances with all those injuries. And so far, they've been doing well with the injuries that they've been handed lately. So
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But I just know that if I'm a team... If I'm either Nashville or Anaheim right now and I'm looking at the standings, I think the last team, not that you want to face anybody in the Western Conference, but I would not want to face a Jets squad who had just got healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Going into the first round of the playoffs.
They just get Perreault back, just get Byfuglien back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see going forward. I mean, I only got, 15 games left?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's coming up quick. March Madness, man. It's not just basketball, but it's mostly basketball.
It's very true.
All right, so that's mostly what the direct Jets news we're going to talk about. So we're going to take a step back in time now.
Okay.
In a time when hockey was an affordable thing.
Oh, man. Those were the days.
In a time where on a cold, cold Saturday, nothing to do with your buddies, you could think, what should we do today?
For $20.
And for $20.
And $2 parking.
You could look at the schedule and be like, hey, the Manitoba Moose are in town tonight.
Yep.
Let's go watch them play some hockey.
Park at the Smith Street Parkade. $2.
$2.
$2 for the whole game.
So affordable.
Yep.
Beer was
and then
cheaper.
half the time, the thing didn't even work on your way out, so you didn't even have to pay.
Exactly.
You could just park for free.
It was awesome.
Yep.
That's right, folks. The Manitoba Moose could be back next season.
Oh, fuck yeah, bud.
I hope everyone just heard what you were saying, because you guys were talking
too.
like mice.
I know, we were really quiet there.
I'm just watching the audio levels, and it's just...
Nothing at all. Anyways, in case you didn't hear that, the Manitoba Moose may be coming back next year.
Thank you.
I know some people, A, don't understand this, B, don't give a shit, and C, you're dumb for both of those reasons. For the most part, I'm pretty excited by this news. For those who haven't heard the story, I think it's long been known that St. John's just wasn't going to work out for the Moose. It has nothing to do with attendance. It's nothing to do with making money. I think a lot of people are confused when they see an organization thinking they're going to make money off the AHL, especially one that owns an NHL team. They're not there to make money. They're there for convenience.
They're there to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're there to provide a good development program for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like preschool. You don't put your kid into preschool to make money.
Correct. Making money off your kid in preschool.
Exactly. University, that's where you go, and hopefully they have
make
some sort of
money.
returns in the future. St. John's it's not that their fan base has been bad, and a part of this is that St. John's is still going to get a team in the end of it. The issue is that it's very far away. And a lot of some of the NHL teams didn't like that their teams had to go out there sometimes.
And the Jets don't like it either.
The Jets really don't like it because they have to call somebody up. It's a problem. Yeah. Montreal apparently is going to be sending their team there.
That's
which is interesting.
Realistic. More realistic.
Kind of surprised
anyways.
Because Hamilton, I didn't think there was a huge problem in how I don't think their attendance was great. Neil, can you actually check that? If you go to the AHL, I think it is .com, I think in their stats they have attendance in there somewhere. So could you check what Hamilton's is like? But yeah, they're apparently going to keep a team. I don't know if they're still going to be the Ice Caps, but that since the whole deal in Thunder Bay isn't really working out, they still haven't broke ground on an arena there. They have nowhere really to go. The Jets want them out of there. Sounds like the MTS Center could or will most likely have 2 tenants next year. Did you get those numbers?
Hamilton?
Yes.
4,000.
Oh, that's not bad for the AHL. I mean, the Moose usually pulled 5 to 10 somewhere in there, I think. So, but yeah. So yeah.
2 tenants, that's interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that would be, but then I guess I don't really know where else they would play.
This kind of surprised me. I never really thought that they would be back at all. No. I thought a WHL team might be a possibility.
I thought that was a bit more realistic.
There's a few different questions I want to throw your way, John. I want to get your opinion on. First of all, what do you think this would mean for concerts in the city?
That's
if you're losing all
immediately what came to mind. That's a lot of dates that are now taken up. I mean, that's like, I mean, how many home games do the Jets play in a year?
40.
Yeah. So
3 to 4 depending on preseason.
Double that, and with having an AHL team there.
Depending. Well, yeah, it'll be about 41.
Yeah, 40 something. So you're looking at double the amount of home games. So there goes another 40 days out of the year that you can't have another event there.
See, here's the thing with the AHL though, is that I think a lot of people might have forgotten. They play a weird schedule in that most of their games are Friday, Saturday. Like they're back to back, they're gone, or they might have an afternoon game or something like that. I think the AHL schedule is a lot more flexible that way. Like, you'll see the Marlies a lot of the time. If the Leafs play at night, the Marlies usually play in the afternoon. They don't even share a building. They just do that deliberately. But there is always that potential of having 2 games in one day where you have a Moose game in the afternoon, have the kids come down, blah, 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 blah. They bail out pretty much and then have the NHL guys come in. Yep. I don't know how realistic that is for broadcast and stuff like that, but you see places like the Staples Center manage the Clippers and the Kings having games. The Lakers and the Kings having games like hours apart.
Concerts there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just it doesn't seem like something I ever would have thought of happening in Winnipeg, having 2 professional sports franchises playing out of the same building. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem.
It doesn't seem like a Winnipeg thing. Like it seems like an LA thing.
Which again has to do with the fact that it's probably only going to be for a couple of years until they can find a permanent home.
I think I would love that, to be honest with you. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, yeah, it would be. But the thing that I'm also thinking about here is when you have them playing just a Friday, like that, weekday concerts are a very common thing. It's not like the AHL is going to be playing during the middle of the week. It'll be every second weekend. They'll have 2 days booked at some point. And if you're really that concerned about it, play. This AHL has a fucked up schedule. Play a Friday night, Saturday afternoon. Not a weird thing for the AHL to do. Their schedules are crazy weird. Yeah. So it's not impossible. I mean, the building will be busy. That's probably good for any profits. But yeah, again, it's all tentative onto how long they're here for. I don't think it'll be more than 1 or 2 years. Where would you like to see them end up?
Well, I mean, the whole reason for them moving is to get somewhere more convenient, right? So it's got to be somewhere relatively close. Somewhere relatively close. I mean, somewhere in there's nowhere really. The problem with where Winnipeg is it's just like Winnipeg and then not much else around for anywhere. I mean, Brandon has the Wheat Kings, but I don't think they've got the population for an AHL team. It's close. But, I mean, with the Wheat Kings there, what's that going to do to your junior team?
If they stay,
Yeah, exactly. So, it's tough to say. I don't know. Maybe they could go somewhere down in the States, just not very far away to the south.
I'd heard people mention Grand Forks. I don't think they'd be big enough. They're more of a college hockey town than it is a professional hockey town. One thing that I think might actually be interesting that nobody, or at least I haven't seen anybody bring this up, is what if the Wheat Kings and the Moose, let's call them that, just swapped cities? Because I feel like running a WHL franchise and an NHL franchise is a bit more realistic than an AHL team as well.
2 fairly different markets.
I don't know how big or how well suited the arena in Brandon is for holding an AHL team. But
it would depend on what they would be able to draw there. Right?
Exactly.
But like we said, it's not necessarily about making money.
Yeah, and then you look at Regina, Saskatoon has like a 15,000 person arena. Like there's places in Saskatchewan as well. Again, it comes down to what's going to go on with their WHL teams. I think both those teams are under new ownership, so I don't know how willing they'd be to move their teams or play both of them. But again, like the Jets wouldn't be in that to make money necessarily. It's not necessarily a money-making pursuit for them. So I think it's going to be a thing of convenience. A lot of those guys are going to be taking a bus wherever they go anyways. So I'm very, very interested to see how...
There's really only two options in terms of direction. You can't go east because the closest thing east is Thunder Bay, and that clearly didn't work out.
Well, for now, that still could happen if they deal something out.
But in the next couple of years, that's not going to work. So you got to wait on that. Yeah. You can't go north because what the hell's north? Yeah. You can't go... Well, you can go...
The Gimli Moose.
Yeah, exactly. You can go... Which is basically just Winnipeg. Like, I mean, there's people who have season tickets in Gimli that kind of drive down to the city. It's not far. You can go into Saskatchewan, or you can go south into some of those northern states. So,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think it's almost convenient too for Jets fans to have a team. Actually, we'll go with this first. Do you think the price point would be the same as it was in the Moose?
As it was before? Probably not. I think it was really cheap before. I don't know if that had something to do with the fact that it was fairly successful with the... I mean, Vancouver is a fairly well-off team. So I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, because you're dealing with money making. But you're dealing with a completely different franchise now, right? Like with the Moose, Manitoba Moose here was owned by the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're dealing with...
I think True North still owned them. They just had a partnership. Whereas now True North owns both.
Okay.
So I think True North still made, because True North was the one selling all the ice cap stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if somebody knows the actual financials behind that. Let us know, because I feel like True North still owned the Moose when they were the Canucks. They just had an agreement in. Well, sorry, I know I cut you off there, but
that's fine. Well, that makes sense because they still sell Moose stuff. True North does.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be...
You can buy Moose apparel on their website.
See, the thing that I would wonder if it would go down in price is because they know, again, money making aside, they know that it instantly have the competition with the Jets. And a lot of people who are really interested in hockey already save and spend their money on Jets stuff. So I don't know how well merchandise would sell. Like, I'm not going to say it's exactly the same as a Marlies and Toronto situation, but the Marlies are like an afterthought for a lot of Toronto hockey fans. And it's where the kids go to watch hockey, or where the really intense Leaf fans go to follow their team, which I think would be a sell here. Because let's be honest here, if you could watch Nick Ehlers and Nick Patan next year,
I would.
That'd be pretty sweet. And think about that going forward. Like, if the team's at least a general close location, like, if there's a team in Grand Forks, I'm going to Grand Forks for a weekend, might as well go see the Prospects play, or
of course,
whatever that is. So there's a lot of other things there, but I think, like, if they were splitting the arena, it would be more of a, we're only going to charge enough that we can cover our costs, or at least get close to covering our costs for this.
Yeah.
I'd also be very interested to see if True North already had all those cameras in the building, if they would broadcast the games at all. I know that TSN Jets is gone, and we'd been saying that they should broadcast the AHL games on there, but I'd be interested to see if even Shaw picked them up, because I know Shaw used to play Moose games every once in a while.
Sometimes. I don't know about you, but I would hop right on to the Moose bandwagon if they came back.
Do you think they'd be... This is the next question I was going to ask you, actually. How well supported do you think they would be?
I think they would be fine. Like, there's a lot of... I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people just like myself and like you who are very interested in hockey, just in general, and loved going to Moose games. The Moose had a good following here.
Yeah, they did.
And I think that if they came back with that cheaper price point,
there'd be a lot of people.
I think there would be a lot of people interested in that. I mean, like, for myself, I can afford to go to Jets games. I don't know if it's really worth it for my money. Like,
well, the thing is expensive. Sports, like, you're taking a real chance on what you're going to see. Like, it's like we've brought this before. It's not like a movie where you know what you're going into, and you know the whole purpose of it is for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like, you see this argument all the time, and I think they were talking about it on PTI before, and it's a big thing in basketball right now where they're benching stars, and fans are showing up expecting to see LeBron James, or in the Spurs thing, Tim Duncan, all these guys, and they might not even play.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh crap, I'm an idiot. What's Mavericks owner name?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban was on PTI last week, and he was kind of saying, I think generally our fans understand that this isn't necessarily like winning at sports right now. Fans will forgive you for benching those guys if they get a championship out of it, but he then takes it on their purpose is to make it an overall experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you have to do with hockey especially. But I completely agree. I loved going to see the Moose because the AHL is an entertaining brand of hockey.
It's high-level hockey. Like, a lot of those guys playing in the AHL at some point did play in the NHL or will play in the NHL. Like, there's NHL talent there.
Yeah.
It's just different levels. It's the older guys who might not be able to make it anymore, or the young guys who are just on their way up.
I think you could very realistically say that whoever wins the Calder Cup this year could probably beat the Buffalo Sabres, probably beat the Edmonton Oilers, probably compete with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Absolutely.
Like, they're good. Like, when the Moose were winning a lot and made it to the Calder Cup, that Hershey Bears team was an unbelievable hockey team to watch that they played. The Moose were an unbelievable hockey team to watch that year. Like, there's some good talent in the AHL.
I was always entertained going to the AHL games, and I always felt like I got my money's worth because it was friggin' $20.
Exactly.
And you got to sit in the lower bowl, and I
loved Moose games. Where I spent my 18th birthday.
Exactly. And that's where I gained a lot of my love for hockey, was watching the AHL, because that was all that there was in this city at the time.
And never mind watching guys, like, especially if it's the Jets prospects, Connor Hellebuyck, Nick Ehlers, Nick Vitant. Like, there's a lot of guys. Eric Odell. You could actually... I think a lot of Jets fans would benefit, quite honestly, from going down and watching some of these guys and thinking to themselves, why is Anthony Peluso playing when this kid's here?
Yeah.
Why is Chris Thorburn on a 3-year contract when this kid's here?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I think it would help not just casual hockey fans, but the Jets fan base understand their whole system a lot better. And I wonder if Arctic Ice could get press passes if that happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Should look into that. I wonder if we could get press passes since they were in press.
Oh, snap.
Shit.
I wonder.
It's a little too official. I don't know if I'm ready for that. It's a
little too official. Well, I mean, if we, like...
They're handing them out to anyone nowadays, man.
Well, I mean, for the AHL, like, it's not... The NHL's completely sticky on who they actually give it to. I wonder if the AHL would do this, because it would be advertisement for them, if we're talking about them once a week for however long to however many people.
Yep.
Selling the game, right?
Yep.
I would love if the Moose came back, man. Because, like, even like me, I can very easily justify a $40 night.
Yeah.
A ticket, a few beers, whatever it is.
Parking and whatever.
Parking, right. But going to a Jets game, whatever, 200, whatever
you're looking at,
it is.
Depending on... I mean,
ticket, drinks,
the
parking,
games... I've been to 2 Jets
man.
games. I haven't paid for either sets of tickets. And if I did, it would have been like... Especially the last ones that I got.
Yeah,
would have been like
we went to.
$400 for those 2 seats.
Yeah.
And I spent I can't remember how much we ended up spending when I went, because we went out for dinner first, and then drank there, and then when Travis and I went on New Year's, had a bunch of beers at the game. There's some ruckus just going on upstairs.
Dog going crazy upstairs.
But yeah, no, it's like $100, $150 night easily.
Yeah, it's
and if you're buying your own seats, it's even more.
Yeah, so I would like to see it happen. It would almost be kind of painful to have them come back, then have them leave again.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Have a taste and then leave. But then who knows? Maybe in another couple of years, WHL team comes.
It'd actually be a very interesting experiment to see. Like, if the AHL did well here with the Jets here, I think that would almost push True North more towards getting a WHL team. They know people would support that lower level of hockey despite the Jets being here. And I think that might be their fear. That might be why we haven't heard more about it. Because I just don't know if True North isn't necessarily a place that's and we've seen it in the news lately with stuff that's going on with the city. They're not going to make a risky investment and just walk away with it and just be like, oh, well, I guess we're just going to swallow these losses. Like, they're not going to do that. So I feel like if they had this as almost a forced experiment, kind of, and just get a feel off of how they do, it might be a catalyst for something else. Who knows?
I can see myself buying season tickets if they came back.
I think I would strongly consider it. If I could consider buying Bomber season tickets after all these years.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Yeah.
I think I could consider some Manitoba Moose seasons. Man, we were so close to getting season tickets the year the Jets came back for the Moose.
Yep.
Like, so close.
I think we were going to.
Yeah, I think we were planning on it. Yep. And then they announced that the Jets were coming back, and we're like, well,
guess
that would have been nice if we did it a year earlier.
Yeah. Too bad I don't have $1,800.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an interesting story to follow, at least. A few more things we're going to talk about today. Up next, friend from Norway emailed the podcast. Werner, I hope that's how you say your name.
What's a Norway accent? Norwegian accent.
Werner?
Werner! Who knows? They're probably just insulted.
Hopefully, I'm sorry.
Well, there goes our Norwegian fan base.
So sorry.
So many apologies for that.
So Werner emailed us and said hi and had a couple questions that I think we should address. It might be interesting to talk about.
Questions are always better when they're from multiple thousands of kilometers away.
Exactly. You just feel like you have to.
Yeah.
You have to answer them.
Yeah.
They came from such a long distance.
Exactly.
Joe's pigeon would have taken so long.
It
would
probably
be dead.
Yeah, it would have died on the way for sure.
Anyways, he wants to know what we think will happen in the future with upcoming UFA players like Frolik, Stafford, Tlusty, as well as Byfuglien and Ladd, who will be needing new contracts after next season. He said he was fairly new to hockey. One of the things he doesn't know much about is contracts and such in the NHL, so he's just curious what we think about the chances of some of the Chevy's new acquisitions might stick around for more than a few months, as well as how everything works out in regards to cap space. I would love to tell you more about how things are going to work out in cap space, but it's kind of difficult without Cap Geek, and that's really where it sucks that it's gone.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of looking on NHL numbers. I say little because I had a big assignment due today that really pissed me off. It was only worth 15% of my grade. But anyways, I did a bit of looking, and it's kind of hard to project what's going to happen because the Jets do have a bit of money locked up for the next couple years. But like you said, Werner, they have a lot of things to deal with over the next while. So we talked about this a little bit last week. I guess we'll touch on it a bit again this week and just kind of say what we think might happen. But as a refresher, UFAs next year. Michael Frolik, Jim Slater, TJ Gagliardi, Yuri Tlusty, Matt Halleschuk, Drew Stafford, Lee Stepniak, excuse me, Adam Party, Peter Budaj, as well as a bunch of guys in the AHL who might be playing here next year.
And there's a decent amount on that list of guys who just got brought here within the past few weeks.
Yeah. RFAs, Anthony Peluso, Eric O'Dell, which will be an interesting one, Paul Postma, another interesting one, Ben Schrott, another very interesting one, are all RFAs for next year, again, as well as with a bunch of guys down. Or Carl Klingberg is no longer. Why is he still on this site? Oh, others. Never mind. But the interesting part, again, is next year, 2016-17, when you have Ladd, Scheifele, Lowry, Byfuglien, Klitzum, Trouba, Jay Harrison are all either UFAs or RFAs. Michael Hutchinson's an RFA after next season. So it's an interesting year for Chevy coming up because he's got a lot of decision making to do, obviously, as he should every year. I think who stays and who goes is really going to come down to how this plays out.
This season, yeah.
I'd like to think Chevy's not just going to bring a lot of these guys in for 1 or 2 years, but I've said it for a while now. I think Jets fans need to start accepting the fact that Michael Frolik might not be a Winnipeg Jet next year. I think he is slowly starting to... I don't think he is. I think the perception that he's not coming back is really starting to gain some momentum. Because in his position, it's kind of hard not to want to test the waters a little bit because he has played very well. I think it'd be a fair guess to say that one of Frolik, Tlusty, Stafford, and Stepniak will be back for sure. Maybe 2.
Yep.
I don't think 3 or 4 of them will come back because, again, you have to start thinking about where they're going to want to go. Do some of these guys even want to be here? We don't know.
Yep, and who's going to be coming up available to take their spots?
Exactly. Where again, Nick Ehlers, Nick Petan. You have to play that fine balancing point of making it possible for them to make the team,
but making it not your only option.
But not making it your only option. Like I think we saw with Mark Scheifele last year, where it was kind of like, well, we put all our bones in this kid, so let's see what happens. And again, that's not a knock on Mark Scheifele. I think he's played pretty well this year, despite the lack of goal scoring, despite the fact that he's never really been a goal scorer. But yeah, I think that he's got to tread a little bit of careful water. I think Stafford's almost for sure going to be gone because he's making $4 million this year.
It's a lot.
I don't know if he's going to want to take a pay cut, and I don't think the Jets should pay him that much.
Well, and so Buffalo's only retaining salary for the rest of this year.
Yeah, and then his contract's done by that point.
So there you go. If he's going to be taking a decent pay cut, then I don't think they're going to be willing to pay him.
Yeah, and again, a lot of these, it could be one of those situations where a lot of these guys go out and then see, oh crap, we got nothing else offered. Let's see what the Jets are willing to bring us back for.
Well, I mean, like Stafford is a good example. I mean, even whether he's with the Jets or not, I don't think he's going to be making that same money off of this contract.
Like he might look at it and say, well, I can try and see what happens because crazy crap happens. I think you can pretty much kiss TJ Gagliardi goodbye. I think he's probably a little disappointed with his role this year, and I don't blame him. I think there's guys a lot worse than him in the lineup regularly. I think I'd be shocked if the Jets even gave a qualifying offer to Anthony Peluso. I think they're slowly starting to make that transition away from the crap players, and I think Chris Thorburton's the last one you're going to see here. Especially when you have, again, all those young guys and have to qualify Adam Lowry in a couple of years, have to have money for Ladd, have to have money for Byfuglien. Like, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made here really soon. So I'd be shocked if Party came back. I think you're going to have to qualify Sherratt. I think you have to qualify Postma. Those guys are kind of stuck here. They can't really go anywhere as long as you want them back.
Yeah.
And I think Paul Postma's still a valuable asset, so you can probably move him pretty well.
Seems like the Jets are pretty high on Sherratt as well. I don't see him going anywhere.
That's another guy who got hurt last week. I don't think we mentioned him. So
no, we didn't.
It's another important piece. But yeah, it's hard to guess because I think before we can really say who's going to do what, we have to see what the dollar amount is for Frolik. I would have no problem with them going up to 5 with him.
That's the very, very high end.
It is, because, again, like, Little's making 5.
But the value has been so, especially if you're trying to set values just from this past trade deadline, the values are all over the map for different values of players. Like, some guys were, clearly better than others, going for way less, and it's all over the place.
Brian Little is a steal at $5 million.
He is. No, absolutely. Elliot Friedman actually said it on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday. He said Brian Little is the most underrated player in the NHL.
Yeah. He's a steal.
Yeah.
Like, his average is like 4.7. Like, that's insane. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Which is an interesting way to set your value for other guys if you want to look at it
exactly.
that way.
If you got to sit here and be like, well, Brian Little's only making this. Are you better than Brian Little?
Yeah, exactly. Are you better than our number one center who takes all the tough minutes?
Exactly.
Really?
Like,
are you?
Well, not as tough this year, but still tough. It'll be an interesting way to, like, I don't really know what else to say about it. Like, a lot of these UFAs they have are guys that aren't making a lot of money, so I think you're only going to end up keeping a couple of them. Oh, Jim Slater off the books will be so nice. As long as he's not brought back, fine, do whatever the hell you want. But yeah, it's Frolik, and I think it'd be very interesting to see if Frolik and Tlusty kind of go together, because you keep hearing how great friends they are.
I think you have to separate, and this is just a very Jets thing, you have to separate what the Jets' value for players are from trade value in the NHL, or contract value, or whatever you want to say. Because we've talked about how the Jets are a very internal cap kind of team. I think they're just going to set their own values for players and kind of ignore, to a certain extent, what the rest of the NHL is doing, if I'm being honest, what True North would do. So, that being said, the Michael Frolik deal, if there is one, would be a good way to set a value for these other guys.
Yeah.
To get an idea of what True North probably thinks they're worth.
Which I think is an important thing to do. I think that puts more of an emphasis on the Jets needing to get whoever they want signed before free agency starts, because you're not going to win a bidding war. They just won't let that happen.
Well, they're just not that kind of... So that's just not how they roll, They're not like, okay, we'll one-up you, no problem. Oh,
exactly. I don't think people understand how drastically this team could change if Chevy doesn't sign certain players. Like, if you lose Frolik this offseason and don't replace him, if you lose Frolik, Tlusty, Stafford, and Stepniak and can't find adequate replacements for them, and the kids don't come up and perform how you want, you're looking at a bottom team again.
There goes your depth.
Very quickly.
As quickly as the depth came, it would be gone.
Yeah. To say that there's depth right now is another thing aside. So, like, it's very... Chevy's got to be careful, because this kid... People want to praise him a lot right now. It could really bite him in the ass pretty soon if he isn't careful with it. So, I don't know if that's really answering your question, Werner, but...
I think the only true answer will come, or a better, clear answer will come after this Frolik situation is either dealt with or nothing happens. As soon as that situation happens, then we'll have a better idea of what is going to go on with the rest of it. I think that'll be a benchmark.
Yeah, probably. So... Get Frolik signed.
Yeah, exactly. Or just
let everyone know he's not coming.
Well, exactly. Either do it or don't do it. That's the thing.
Yeah. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about Paul Maurice. Speaking of players that need to be re-signed eventually, and bad signings of Chevy past. Paul Maurice was on H&L today, I believe.
Yeah, let's see.
A little Q&A session with the boys. There was one question in particular that kind of stuck out to me. Most of them had to do with, how do you like Winnipeg? Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Yeah. It's going to be crap anyways. But then they asked, in your eye, I just out of nowhere. So I was kind of like, whoa, this is really, where did this come from?
Maybe they were doing that thing where he's like throw a bunch of random questions and then hit him with a hard one out of nowhere so you get an honest answer.
Well, it's like your generic ones. It's like, do these games feel like playoff games? City hasn't had a playoff game in a long time. How do you keep that extra weight off the players? A couple more. How has everything worked out for your family? Has it been a good fit for you in comparison to other jobs and cities you've worked in previously experienced? That like interesting stuff that people might want to know. Then out of nowhere, it's just like, in your eyes, why is Mark Stuart a good player?
That's so random.
Like, whoa. Okay. So random. So obviously that's the only one I really care about.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
So I'm going to respond. No, I'm not going to respond. I'm going to read Paul Maurice's response here, and I want you to... Actually, I want you to do something specific here.
Sure.
When I first tweeted out that we were going to talk about this, Kara responded by saying, if part of the response is not a bunch of onomatopoeias, then you are doing it wrong.
I forget my poetic devices. Which one's onomatopoeia?
It's where the word is just like making a noise. So like meow, bark, bark, yes. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So I want an onomatopoeia from both of you.
Oh boy.
On your response to this answer. Okay.
All right.
In response to this response. Because I know mine already.
Okay. It doesn't have to be like an animal noise.
Paul Maurice, no. Anyways.
Moo.
Yeah. Paul Maurice responded to the question, in your eyes, why is Mark Stuart a good player, by saying the following. He does a number of things to affect the course of games. Mark Stuart is not going to score a lot, and he's got some decent numbers this year. He got one early in this. He got one in early this year. Weird sentence. He affects the way the game is played against our team and affects the way we play. So it's not always about the puck and how you sit on the bench. So it's not always about the puck and how you sit on the bench, what gets taken care of in front of the net. Building the identity of the team doesn't come up as an analytic. That and his leadership and fitness level. There's that leadership word. Fitness, leadership and his fitness level. This is not the defining reason that I put players on the ice, but he loves being a Jet, and it comes out in everything he does. So we're building that identity, and in some ways, almost as that is a first, you kind of have to want to be in Winnipeg. It's not New York City, but there's a lot of great things about Winnipeg for you to love. For you to love being in that room and to be a great teammate. Man, this is just all over the place.
Yeah, I'm glad you're... Yeah, I'm...
You got to be happy where you are. There are going to be some guys who think that the grass is greener on the other side. Everybody's got a guy or two who thinks they can play somewhere else and get more ice time, but Mark is committed to this group, and I think he does an awful lot for us.
Wah, wah.
I'm very iffy on that one because there is
fart noises. Is my response.
I was really prepared to go with the thumbs down.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we've got the trifecta here: leadership, fitness. He wants to be here. That is the Winnipeg trifecta right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do if you have leadership, fitness, and you want to be here, you're our guy.
All right, let's strike those down one by one. Fitness. You're a friggin' professional athlete.
Yes.
You better be fit. If you're not, then you're... No.
Yeah. You're a fucking professional athlete.
Like, just no. You have to be fit. I don't care. Some are fitter than others, yes. I have a feeling Mark Stuart is not one of those guys. Like, we're talking the Ovechkins, the Crosbys, the Stamkoses. Those are the guys who are like, you can say their fitness is unbelievable.
Mark Stewart's pretty fit, but I don't know.
I believe he is. Yeah. I'm not going to discount that.
Yeah. But he's not like, he's not going to win any bodybuilding
So is
Anthony Peluso.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Thorburn.
So, you can name off so many. Chris Thorburn is a friggin' monster. Like, that dude is jacked.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Terrible at hockey.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Leadership. Good. You need leadership. I agree. You can't have no leadership. But how many freaking players on this team are we going to give that leadership tag to?
Like, remember my whole little Febreze in a room full of shit thing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, this guy's got leadership. That guy's got leadership. Well, I love his leadership. Like...
Lovely.
Yeah, okay, if you love his leadership so much, why is he not the captain? Like, why is Angela the captain? Exactly. Oh, you love his leadership. Everybody's got friggin' leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. Don't care.
Leadership worked really well with straighten out Evander Kane, right?
To me, yeah, exactly.
That leadership was all over the place.
There's some stuff going on in Toronto today too with
more bullshit.
With Nazem Kadri.
It's funny how leadership's never a problem when a team's winning.
No,
right?
never.
Because it's just Steve Dangle brought this up perfectly. No player ever sleeps with another player's wife until the team is doing poorly.
Exactly. No.
Seriously,
of course not.
Chicago Blackhawks lost a few games. Patrick Sharp's sleeping with everybody.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
Yep. And you know what? No team's players do cocaine until they're losing.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're losing and they're partying
all
the time.
No one's late to anything ever.
No, exactly.
Until you lose.
Until you lose a bunch
then
of
everyone's
games.
late.
You lose like 5 games in a row. Oh, this guy didn't show up for a meeting. Leadership.
No one wears a tracksuit.
Yeah. No,
until you are late.
Yeah. No.
Or until you're losing, sorry.
Yeah, until you're losing, yeah. And like, oh man, and if somebody wears a tracksuit, there's your leadership just down. Like, where's your leadership at?
Yeah, where's the leadership in the room?
That guy wouldn't be wearing a
Stuart
tracksuit.
the one throwing things in the shower?
Anyways, we're going to strike that one down. Just because of all those things we just said.
I get leadership is a thing. I get it.
I think I made this point before. Leadership figures itself out.
Yes.
In sports. I don't care what you say about what level it's at. From the very, very bottom levels of recreational leagues to the highest levels, the leaders are the leaders, and that they just work themselves out. Because somebody who's a natural leader is going to just play that role naturally. So there's no need to label it.
You know why Dion Phaneuf was made the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Why?
Because he went into the locker room and changed it completely.
Yeah, there you go.
But he has no leadership now, apparently.
Anyways, what was the other one? Oh, he wants to be here.
He wants to be here.
Good. Don't care.
Lovely.
If you're good at hockey, I don't care if you want to be here or not.
Contract says you have to be here, so...
That's a great lovey-dovey thing. If he wants to be here, and I love that.
I don't give two shits if you hate this city. Play hockey and play well. I don't care.
That is an awesome thing to have on top of all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're a good hockey player, if you're a good guy, you do charity crap, you get lots of points, you win games, blah, 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 you're great in the room, all that stuff. Awesome. And then on top of that, you also like this city? Oh, great. I also like this city. That's great.
Yeah,
something we have in common.
Wow.
But...
live here when you retire.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll run into you at a Cora's for breakfast.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I don't care if you love this city or not. To be honest, it's nice if you do, but it's not an essential thing.
Here's the thing with all 3 of those points. All 3 of them can be equally important to the team if you're not on it. All 3 of those can be equally important to a franchise if you're a coach. If you're in the press box. You don't have to be on the ice for those things to have an impact.
Agreed.
At all.
But if you couple those with being on the ice...
And being good on the ice. Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Agreed.
I think Evander Kane got a lot of shit because he clearly didn't want to be here. I don't care. That's what I cared the least about.
Yes, that is the least.
He was a good hockey player.
Yeah.
That's what mattered to me. Mm-hmm. I get that it's not the same for everybody. I understand there are people in the city who cry when somebody says something bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll also be the same people who be like, oh, Winnipeggers are tough.
Yeah. Whatever.
Then suck it up when someone doesn't like it here.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about Detroit the same way all the time.
Yeah, not everybody's going to love it.
They don't have Detroit.
Yeah, nobody, yeah.
But people want to go there because they win.
Because success.
It's funny how that whole thing is going to change when this team starts winning.
Well, and I'm glad that winning is something that even the stupidest, or in my opinion, just the most ridiculous people who say the most ridiculous things in sports, whether it's media or players or coaches, something that everyone kind of has an understanding of is that winning fixes everything.
Winning fixes everything.
And it does. It absolutely does.
Everything.
Doesn't matter how you do it.
You could have a room full of cocaine dealing.
Yes. You could be doing cocaine gambling. In the room.
You could be doing cocaine on the ice.
Yes.
But if you were winning, nobody would care.
A little cocaine dispenser in your helmet. Yeah. Doing cocaine while you're playing.
Exactly.
And nobody cares if you're winning.
The whatever those things are the guys sniff could literally
be
smelling salts. It could literally be cocaine.
Yes, doesn't matter.
And if you were winning, people wouldn't say anything.
Nobody would say a damn thing.
No one would say a thing.
Except for all the teams that are losing.
And apparently, according to what's-his-face who wrote about this whole crap after Kessel talked about, if you're nice to the media, people will say less.
Yeah.
People will say nothing.
Yep.
At all. Mm-hmm. Ever. If you're nice to the media, no one would care. And it would never get out.
Yep.
But you do one bad thing, and they hold grudges, apparently. Apparently that's what they do. Written by an actual reporter. They will hold that grudge, and when you do something wrong, they will rip you apart for it.
I believe it.
Which is insanity and dumb and stupid. Anyways, back to actual Mark Stuart thing. When it comes to the actual play side, that's lovely, Paul. It's lovely that you think he's an effective asset to your team. People think Byfuglien as a forward is a lovely asset to your team. When your production is worse, all these things are great to think about, but when your production as a team drops when a player is on the ice, that's all that should matter. That's all it is. It's that simple. And I get that he's not going to score a lot. I'm not saying he should score a lot. I'm saying when he's in his end, he should be a lot better at getting out of it.
Yeah.
And he's not good at that. The team is a worse team with him on the ice. It's plain and simple. He's just not that good. He isn't. It's just the way it is. You have better options. I get you like the guy. I'm sure I would love Mark Stuart as a person if I met him.
Yep.
The guy is as tough as nails. He had the most destroyed face I've seen in a long time. Yeah. Actually, that's not true because my boss actually got hit in the face with a puck a couple weeks ago. Anyways, Mark Stuart had a huge, nasty-ass eye.
Yep.
And he didn't say a thing, and he goes back out there. He blocks shots with his face. He's a tough son of a bitch. And I've heard he is the nicest of guys. I probably would meet him in person, feel really bad for thinking he's an awful hockey player.
But you know what? Man, I really wish he was good so I could like him.
Joe, you're a nice guy. Mm-hmm. You're a wonderful person.
Terrible.
You're not that great hockey.
No, I'm horrible, actually. But I have a good reason. Because I never played.
I would never attack Mark Stuart on a personal level.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he is a wonderful person, and I'm sure he's a great ambassador for the team.
Yep.
But you know what? Mike Keane is a great ambassador for the team, too.
It's true.
He's retired.
He doesn't actually negatively affect their on-ice play in any way.
Exactly.
He's
a development coach.
Yeah, he's doing it very well. Doing a very good job of leadership, development, ambassadorship.
And wanting to be in the city.
And wanting to be here.
The guy's lived in Montreal. He chose Winnipeg as his home.
Yeah. And I've heard nothing but good things about Montreal.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's a very good example of how you can do all those things that Mark Stewart somehow does.
And not be on the ice.
And actually not negatively affect the team
exactly.
in any way. Like causing 2-on-1s every time.
Every time. So, love you, Mark. I hope to meet you one day and not have you punch me with your 18 fists in one fist.
Yeah.
Because you are a tough son of a bitch. And I'm sorry, but just don't play anymore.
I wish you were good at hockey.
Honestly, Mark Stuart would be this city's folk hero if he was a good hockey. If Mark Stuart did the things that Dustin Byfuglien did.
Oh my goodness.
And stayed Mark Stuart as a person.
Yeah.
Or Trouba, if he was that good and stayed the Mark Stuart person.
Yeah.
He would be pretty much Teemu Selanne 2.0.
He would have a statue.
He would.
He would.
Of just his jaw.
Yeah,
just his jawbone.
Not even like the rest of his face.
Yeah, just the jawbone. just sitting there being all.
And he has a little bit of grizzly beard on.
And like a fist punching it, but the fist is broken in half because his jaw is so fucking steel strong.
So aggressive. I agree.
But no. Like exactly what we were talking about when Shirley asked about Byfuglien. You can make all these arguments all you want, but the team is negatively affected when you're on the ice.
Yep.
You lose more when he's on the ice. So.
I should get a fart drop.
You should.
But you can just cut out Travis's little fart noises and make
it.
There's a good one.
Yeah.
Do it again. I said something. Oh, yeah.
Perfect. That'll be there.
AKA you're fucked.
Yeah.
One last thing before we get to our fun regular segments. Speaking of the AHL, its potential return and blah, 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 blah. Craig Custance, I can't remember how to say his last name, wrote an article for ESPN not last week, I believe, talking about what is he talking about? The overtime in the AHL, how it's 3-on-3, and he had updated numbers. But you know what? ESPN is stupid and makes you have subscriptions to read their articles, so I lost that. But luckily, on January 15th, 2015, Greg Wisniewski, I can't remember how to say his name properly, tweeted out wrote a post for Yahoo Sports talking about the information, and I just want to read out this one little stat for you and let you know what may be coming to the NHL. There have been 136 AHL games that have gone to overtime this season. Of those, 101 have been decided in either 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 overtime, aka 74.3%.
Wow.
35 were decided in the shootout, or 25.7%. Last season, the AHL saw 35.3% of its overtime games and in 4-on-4 overtime. The number of overtime games decided in the shootout was a robust 64.7%, 178 games. So from 64.7% of overtime games down to 25.7%.
See,
that's a lot more.
When we were first talking about this before this change even happened, and we were all sort of on the same page of start out at 4-on-4, then swap to 3-on-3, and then shootout after. In my mind, I was like, that's got to be better, but I didn't have any proof for it, and I never thought that it would actually be that much of a difference. There's no way. I thought it would be maybe 5-10%, something like that. Yep. But that is a huge difference.
It is a very large difference. The Jets alone have played 11 shootouts this year. Like, that's how many?
And a shootout is just a coin toss.
Pretty much.
So,
and it's not fun, and it's really anticlimactic.
It's boring.
So please,
let's just be straight up about it. It's really boring.
Yeah, I don't like them. It's more of a, all right, Twitter beats what actually happens on the screen, so who wins the shootout?
Yeah, it's pretty much it.
Yeah. Every once in a while you get sick moves, and I appreciate that. Like Blake Wheeler actually like ripping a guy's groin is awesome, but
and there's been a couple where they go to like 13 rounds or whatever, and those are kind of interesting because then you get to see guys who don't normally shoot get out and play.
For the most part, like I don't care.
Yeah,
just give me a winner now.
Yeah,
like you might as well just go to center ice, be like heads, tails.
Well, that's exactly it.
So
I love seeing shootout stats. That's my favorite. Like, well, this team is actually 0 for 10 against this team in shootouts. And you're like,
Florida has played 17 shootouts this year.
Yeah, see, that's
17 shootouts.
A lot of things could be different in that situation, right?
Just go to the 4-on-4 and 3-on-3. Yeah. It's so much better. You get goals. Games end, and it's exciting. You'd be like, yeah.
Well, exactly. For the fans, even. And they originally, when the shootout was brought in, they're like, it's for the fans, for fun. It's going to be cool, showcase the skill. And then after a while, everybody was just like, okay, people are just doing the same thing over and over again. This isn't fun anymore. We just want to see regular goals.
Yeah. 58.8% of those overtime games have been decided in the 3-on-3.
Wow, it's a lot of ice to work with.
Wait, that's not true. Whatever. Anyways, a lot of games have been decided in overtime, so hopefully that comes to the NHL soon, because I really think seeing NHL players go 3-on-3 would be insane. Anyways, Joe.
Yes.
I hope you've selected a great team for this week.
I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe's Great Team of the Week.
So, Great Team of the Week for this week is going to go to the New York Rangers. They've got 5 wins in their last 7 games. Henrik Lundqvist's on the IR. And Cam Talbot stepped up with a shutout on the weekend. They've been doing pretty well. They're sitting fairly okay for a playoff spot right now.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be okay. They're third in the Metro, I think.
Eastern race has gotten a lot less exciting.
Yeah.
Lately.
They're going to be good to go. I don't know when Henrik is supposed to be back. Do we know how long-term that is?
I'm not sure. It's really weird because he has like a strained artery in his neck.
That's so awkward.
I've never heard of a strained artery before because strains usually only happen to muscles.
Because that would be
science.
I'm
interested to see how that actually turns out for him. It's a very scary injury.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to take a puck to the throat regardless. Never mind straining arteries.
The New York Rangers are a team that anybody should be worried about playing in the playoffs, especially with Lundqvist coming back if he does.
They clearly are going for it.
Yeah, because he can steal a series from you, possibly multiple. So
yeah, they're only 3 points out of first in the East, and they have 2 games in hand.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting.
You're giving her.
Ottawa's the only real team that's making a good push right now, and they've like crawled out of the nowhere in the East.
They were like 8 points out at one point. Yeah.
Freaking Boston, who's still like I get that they're probably gonna make it, but they just don't feel the same. No. They're still in the playoffs. Fuck off, Boston. I hate you.
Yeah, the worst.
Well, give me the Columbus or something.
Yeah, something fun.
The Leafs are taken, which is fun.
That is actually.
All right. Joe, why don't you start us off as well with things we learned this week?
Things I learned this week. This is actually going to be related somewhat to hockey and the Jets, which is crazy. Normally, that's not what we talk about in things we learned this week.
It's very true.
But things I learned this week is actually an interesting tweet that I saw just today from Mark Silva at MSilvaWPG. says, hashtag QMJHL scoring leader has 117 points in 63 games. Nick Ehlers has 94 points in 46 games for a pace of 129 points in 63 games. So he's on pace to beat the record for points.
It's impressive.
By a decent amount if he keeps up. And he's got 12 points in his past 3 games, I think. Yeah, he's just ripping it up right now. So that's thank you to Mark Silva for that information, and Ehlers.
Surprisingly underrated. Nick Patan is lighting it up as well this year. Just saying. He is like 1 point off of Ehlers' pace, actually, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to look this up real quick. Where is he here?
See, I see updates on Ehlers all the time, and somehow I just never see anything
Nick Patan's the forgotten man, I'm telling you. 46 games played for Nick Patan, 77 points.
Wow.
No, it was since the beginning of the season.
Oh,
it's
since the World Juniors.
World Juniors.
Yeah, I saw that.
That he has been like right there with Ehlers. So
since World Juniors. So his overall numbers are not quite as the same, but yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, of those stat lines, and it's going to be ridiculous because people are Patan's going to get here and they're going to be like, why isn't he scoring goals? He has 11 goals and 66 assists.
That's nuts. Like, so, that is ridiculous.
You're looking at like mini Joe Thornton right there.
Yeah. No, he's the sauce master.
He is. He is the sauce master. Look at that Patan.
Yeah, exactly.
Goddamn Byfuglien. I love it. Neil.
What did you learn? I learned that Yager got traded again. I had no idea, but he's in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is.
And
he's ultra old.
Yeah, so speaking of that, there's a nice little graphic TSN showed of how many goals he has, 717, compared to the rest of the forwards on his team, 729. So he's only 12 back of the entire thing.
Of the entire team.
Yeah, but a quote that I wanted to share with everybody is he was talking to, I believe it was the National Post, about his new line mates, and I'll do my best to to give it justice here. He's like, I didn't know anything about them. They're good. It's funny. They've got the confidence. That's what I love about them. I told Barkov, I'm going to scream. Give me the puck. He said, you don't have to scream. I'm like, I see you. 19 years old. I love it.
19 years old. That's hilarious.
So, yeah, it sounds like he's the old guy playing with a bunch of young bucks. So,
yeah, he is. He is super old. Like, ultra old.
Like, borderline could be some of these guys' dads.
Oh, he could be, for sure. Yeah.
Well, how old is he? If he's playing with 19?
I'm going to get to this right here.
Oh, okay.
Give me 1 second. So did you guys hear last week about the whole Al Montoya, Roberto Luongo thing? This can kind of be an extension of things Neil learned. Anyways, last week, Roberto Luongo got hurt during a game against the Leafs.
Oh, okay.
He got hurt. So he left the game, which left them with Al Montoya. Al Montoya got hurt. And everyone was like, oh shit, we don't have a goalie. So he left the game, ended up playing, despite the fact that he destroyed his groin, and he probably shouldn't have played, but he kept playing anyways. But in the meantime, their goalie coach, Rob Tallis, geared up. And the big story was, this is 41-year-old goalie coach, suiting up to play, was on the bench. He almost had to play because Montoya wasn't for sure coming back. Roberto Luongo was in the hospital, came back to the locker room from the hospital, suited up, and then left again to go to the hospital. It was a crazy night. It made no sense what was going on.
It's ridiculous.
Anyways, the big deal was, 41-year-old goalie coach Rob Tallis is gearing up. He might actually play in a game. He's our goalie coach. Big deal.
Yager's 46, isn't he?
Yager is 43.
Oh, 43, okay. Yeah. Still playing.
Yeah. That is insane. And not just playing. Getting traded for second-round picks sort of playing. Still being extremely effective. Let's look at this year. He has 3 points in 4 games with the Panthers since he's gotten there.
Wow.
It's bullcrap. The guy has 29. He's just 32 points this year. Wow. He had 67 points last year.
Yeah, he had actually a very good year last year.
It's ridiculous. The guy's lockout shortened year, he had over 30 points, 50 points, 71 points, 96 points, 123 points in 05-06. The guy just puts up points.
Yeah.
It's insane. He's 43. 43.
Yep.
Damn it, man. Give me just a little bit of that.
Yeah, I'll just take
please
1% of your talent.
Just let me lead the WJHL in scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me lead my league in scoring. That'd be awesome. That's all I need. Please. All right, I learned a couple things this week, one of which we've already touched on. And Steve Dangle actually pointed this out to me, because Steve Dangle is a genius. Phil Kessel is an amazing leader. He just is.
Okay.
He is.
I'm waiting for
this is not a very common thought in Toronto.
I know.
But feel me out here. Listen to me out here. Let's just listen to this.
I'm listening.
So we talked about last week the whole Joffrey Lupul Dion Phaneuf thing.
Yeah.
About how that was a big thing. And blah, 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 blah. Who slept with who. Big crying sort of thing. The very next day, what would you think the big story was going to be in the locker room?
Well, probably that.
Probably that.
Yeah.
Teammates, big drama, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't.
Of course not.
And why wasn't it?
Because Phil Kessel
came into the locker room and said, you guys are fucking assholes. Yeah. Basically told the media that they should be embarrassed about themselves and they're dicks and they're horrible humans. So, of course, the media was just like, what?
Yeah.
Phil Kessel's the worst human in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Phil Kessel, you are the worst. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Phil Kessel should shut his mouth. Not a word about Phaneuf or Lupul at all.
That's leadership right there.
That is leadership.
Took all the weight off their backs.
Exactly. Said, you know what, boys? This is just, as Steve put it, this is an average Tuesday for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So just let me take this one.
Yeah.
You guys can go on and just deal with yourselves because no one's going to talk about you as soon as I say this.
Yeah.
So
I'll just handle this really quick.
I got this, guys.
Yeah.
Put the team on my back door.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Phil Kessel is a great leader. I learned that today and last week. Thank you, Phil. Another reason I love you.
Yep. Phil Kessel's a beauty. I will never. I'm a Phil Kessel fan. I can't.
As you should be.
I can't go against him.
He's a good human being. One other thing I learned that I'm going to throw up on the TV right here.
Dude had testicular cancer when he was like 19.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And he's just an amazing hockey player. Puckalytics.com. I don't know if we've talked about this site very much.
Great name.
It is the future site and home of stats.hockeyanalysis.com, which we've used before. We actually featured on a episode way back when, and Wowie Stats, I believe, was the title. The reason that I learned something about this was A, because it's advanced on that, and B, Neil reminded me because we were talking about that episode earlier today. See this tab right here? It says Super Wowie.
Mm-hmm.
You can now go through and make line combinations and see how effective they were together.
Yes.
Or you can set up a line combination who their opponents are and see how effective they are.
Yes.
So you can literally go through, and I did this earlier, and it was very interesting. You can go through and add the Jets' top line here. So I'm just going to keep doing that while I'm talking.
I'm like in love with this already.
Right. Oh, it's awesome. Absolutely fantastic. And Garrett is actually doing a very interesting series, I believe, or he started it today, looking at Jets players and how they affect their entire lines and who they've played with using this tool. So, Garrett, you're a freaking genius, bro.
Whoever put this together is a freaking genius.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I'm getting names right now. On Twitter, I think he's at Hockey Analysis. I can't remember his name at the moment. But you can go through and see, all right, this is, it's not his actual name.
Classic.
Dustin Byfuglien, add him on there, and he's played a lot with Ben Sherratt this year as defenseman, right? Yeah, throw Ben Sherratt in there. So. Well, I wonder, how's the team performed in front of Pavlik? So you throw all those guys in there. From September 1st this year until the end of the season, load your Wowies.
Wowie.
Super Wowies.
For those of you who don't know, with you, without you.
Yes.
It's taking a little bit of time here.
So these are 5v5 situations.
Yes. It's being a little slow, so the internet's not being my friend right now. Anyways, you can load the Wowies and see how those 6 players play together, so 5 players and a goalie. And it tells you like their Corsi 4 percentage individually and with one players and stuff like that, but it also shows together at the very top and how they perform. And then if you really wanted to be a prick and see, oh, but I thought the team played... There you go. So Corsi 4 percentage of all those guys together, 58.2% this year. But let's say you wanted to see how they played in front of Michael Hutchinson. Because, you know, everyone plays better in front of Hutch, right? So remember that number, 58.2% Corsi 4.
Yep. Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of issues with this because I haven't done any of the actual, like, digging in to see zone starts and things like that. When you throw Michael Hutchinson in there, oh, it's funny. That number dropped a couple percentage points. So it's still pretty good, but not as good. So 5.5.
You got situations. Zone starts there.
Yeah, but I haven't really looked at
you gotta take that into consideration. We'll look deeper into that later.
Also, the time on ice together is pretty
very small, yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a fun tool to play with, and puckalytics.com if you want to do that. He's eventually going to pull a bunch of different things over from his old site, which was Hockey Analytics. Stats.hockeyanalytics, I think, .com. Yeah, stats. Anyways, excellent tool.
That's really fun. Cool.
And I also have an awesome background on my computer.
The internet's amazing. People just make things that you can use for free.
For free, yeah.
Like,
yeah. They're just like, hey, I'd appreciate it if you funded me here, but I'm going to do this anyways because I enjoy it.
We live in quite an age, fellas.
Yeah, we do. We also live in an age where I almost never becomes before C.
Nice segment, Travis. You're getting good at this podcast thing.
Oh yeah, it's almost like we've been doing it for 66 episodes.
Except after never.
It's the spelling bee.
I'll give you guys a little bit of a heads up on this one. There are no I before E except after C's, except never in this one.
Thank God.
I need all the help I can get.
So, and actually, you know what? Rare occasion where I didn't double check. Normally I try and spell it first before I write, but I always do like my own thing before I look it up. I'm not sure if I even spelled this one right, so let me double check.
Well, why don't you give us the name, then you can do that while you...
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I got it right. No, so I got this one right off the top of my head, so no pressure.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah, no big deal. So spelling bee for today, New York Islanders defenseman Lubomir Visnovsky.
Lubomir Shashovsky?
Visnovsky.
Wow.
I'm not gonna get you guys.
Do we have to appropriately place all the fucked up
I was
things
gonna
in
say
the
you do not have to appropriately place the different accents.
Makes it much easier.
Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's his last name again?
Visnovsky.
Visnovsky.
There's actually 5 in his actual name.
Just shenanigans. I know there's one like immediately following the L.
See, that's the one I didn't know about. That one caught me off guard.
There's an L?
His first name.
Oh, okay, well, I got that L. Alright, Lubomir Visnovsky. L-U-B...
Whoa, did you say Visnovsky?
It's too late.
There's no B's in there, Neil.
I mispronounced my spelling. L-U-B-E.
Okay.
M-E-E-R.
Okay.
Capital V-I-S-C-H-N-O-V-S-K-Y.
Okay. That's actually, not bad.
I'll take it.
Yep. Lubomir Visnovsky. Lubomir. L-U-B-O-M-I-R.
Okay.
Visnovsky. V-I-S-N-O-V-S-K-Y.
Yeah, Travis nailed it. No problem. That was a walk in the park.
Well, I mean, if you got it right.
Whoa, what's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean?
It means I have to spell every week, and you don't, so I've got...
Hey, I do too. I have to quiz myself before I do it. Yeah, anyways, Lubomir Visnovsky, proper spelling is L-U-B-O-M-I-R for Lubomir, and then Visnovsky is V-I-S-N-O-V-S-K-Y. The S in Visnovsky has a little V on top of it, and then the N also has a little V on top of it, and then the Y has an angled apostrophe thingy in the middle of it on the top, and then there is an apostrophe between L and U of Lubomir.
Do you have anything interesting to tell us about Lubomir?
Sure. Something very interesting, but it's not, very is an overstatement. Won the award for top defenseman.
It's very interesting, but it's not very.
No, it's just kind of something.
It's just there. It's words.
It's just things to say. Won the award for top defenseman in Slovakia in 1999, 2000, 2002, 2003, 2000... Oh, sorry. 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2005.
Well, fucking guy.
And in 2005, he also won the top Slovakian overall player. So
you go, Lubomir.
2005 was just a great year for the Lubes.
The Lubes!
The Lubemeister.
I think that's probably what he's called.
I doubt it. Maybe just Lubes.
Fish?
Maybe Novs or Novs.
Novs would be a good one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lubie.
Hockey players, they have the weirdest
Lube.
nicknames.
They do.
I would call them Lubes, probably, though.
Yeah.
For sure. It's got to be Lubes.
Probably. You know what? Can I get some Seinfeld music, please, Neil? That's not Seinfeld.
Man.
If you're ever wondering if we edited it,
yeah, that's how you know we don't.
We don't edit shit.
This might as well be live.
Neil does enough work.
Yeah.
Just gonna try this for a second. Alright, everybody.
Oh, I gotta pull out my phone.
Oh, yeah, Joe's gotta pull out his phone.
Because I got called out.
Because that is tradition. He does it every episode. So.
Let's check out what's going on in the world of telephones.
Yeah, what are you usually looking at?
You know, if I missed a text message or something. Usually I get a couple Score Mobile updates during podcast, and I don't really want to...
That's fair enough. That's very fair.
You know.
This is my time to shine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Time to pumping your guys'
You're
tires.
doing your thing.
So I could probably say, like, both of you guys just into your phones. I could probably say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, you could just be like, Joe's a total dick, and Neil's the worst.
Well, thank you all for listening to me, and I did all this work, and neither of these other two fuckers ever do anything, so, you know, I just sit here and do it all. I'm going to take full credit for the logo and all the other work that's ever been put into this podcast, because these guys never do anything. So really, if you want to follow everything that I've ever done, you should follow it on Twitter at JetStreamPod. Hashtag JetStream when you do that, you know, because that'd be great. The website I obviously created because I'm so creative, www.jetstreampodcast.com. The email, jetstreampodcast@gmail.com. If you're from faraway lands or close to our home, email us and ask us questions. Let us know what you think of the podcast. It is always appreciated. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at THRUBENIUK. That's at TRubenik. If you want to follow the guy who actually does all the work for the podcast, it's at Neil Noonan. NEILNOONAN. Yeah, he does most of the things.
And if you want to follow the guy who doesn't do anything.
If you want to follow the mind behind the great team of the week, the spelling bee, and my good friend, Joseph Walter Clark, follow him at JW_Clark20.
The most uninteresting Twitter handle in the entire Twitterverse.
Probably. It's up there.
It's close.
I don't know. I have a friend at work who only ever retweets things that my work tweets.
Brian Little also only has like 4 tweets.
Yeah, but Brian Little's got like amazing hockey skill.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't want to like strain his thumbs tweeting. So you just ignore it.
Let me just look this up really quick because it's actually pretty funny.
While you're looking that up, subscribe and rate to us on iTunes. If you search Winnipeg Jets Podcast on iTunes, you'll find us quite easily. If you're listening on Max Sports channels, what else are we on, Neil?
Stitcher, SoundCloud.
If you're listening on any of those things, please head over to iTunes, subscribe, rate.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube as well. We love the YouTube viewers. You guys are awesome. I love looking and seeing who's viewing us on YouTube. It's so sweet. Check out arcticguyshockey.com. It's where these get posted. You can find all the links for everything in one nice and easy place. You can also comment there or on our website if you want to let us know what you think. Joe, have you found what you're looking for?
He might have gotten rid of his Twitter account because it's not even
on there. It's not even there anymore? All right, well, I think we're getting to the fun part of the music now, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back next week.